Hey nerds, JJ Kymorist here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm an author, and thus far I've been writing for 3 years, and I've kind of just been documenting my journey as I go along. So here on my channel, I kind of just share my experience, triumphs, failures, and what I've learned, etc. So today I'll be filling you in on my update for Q1 of 2023. Before we get started, if you want to support what I do here, make sure you hit subscribe. I also invite you to join my reader community, where you'll get access to bonus content, and I'll soon be wrapping up a series of giveaways next month, so you can still get in on that by joining the link down in the description, and it is free as always. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, Q1, let's see, what did I do? So, to start off, I had my first taste of self-publishing, and, I self-published my first novella titled Eris, and I've already talked about this a lot in my other videos, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. You can watch those other videos. I'll link them up here if you're curious about that experience. But basically, yeah, I learned a lot from self-publishing for the first time, and yeah, I'm really glad that I got that experience. So after, I officially published it, I did a little bit of marketing, not a whole lot, but what I did as far as marketing goes was, I of course did a YouTube announcement here on this channel as well as my other channel. I did a couple of interviews. First of all, I did Relax and Chat with Rod Gilly, which was a pleasure, and I also did an interview on my other channel, just interviewing the band Illyria, who I wrote the novella for, and just kind of talking about our experience and their creative process and stuff like that. I also did a couple of promo videos. I did a sort of music video-esque promo video, which was actually really fun to make, and then I also did a reading of one of the chapters from the book. So that's all up on this channel, I believe. I think it's on this channel anyway. I get confused between my two channels sometimes. Anyway, what else did I do as far as marketing? I collaborated a lot with Illyria and, their marketing content, which, they've been so kind to include me in all of their posts and really promote the book as well. So that's been a great experience. I also updated my website with a banner and, a little pop-up thing for people to take a look at it. And then I did some newsletter marketing, which, I did a lot of this prior to the release, kind of just releasing the 3 chapters ahead of time to kind of get some interest in the whole thing. So that's something I did more ahead of time, but of course on the month of release I sent out a newsletter that it was available, yada yada. I also took to social media with marketing, aside from YouTube. I did Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I didn't pay for any ads or anything. It's just, my regular social pages, which I'm not sure those accomplished anything, but, yeah, that's basically all I did as far as marketing. I didn't really try to market it too heavily, as, I kind of assumed that no one would really be interested in it, except for the people who were interested in the music. So that was kind of just my thought process on the whole marketing and who would even be wanting to pick up the novella. But I'm happy to find that I was a little bit wrong about that, which is great. And yeah, I want to thank all of you amazing and wonderful people in my community that I've discovered through YouTube between both my channels, and you all have been really invested in what I'm putting out, and I just want to thank all of you for picking it up even if you're not interested in the music. So yeah, I just want to thank all of you for just being invested in all my endeavors, and yeah, just for basically supporting me on my writing journey. So yeah, my readership is pretty small, but I really truly appreciate every single one of you, so thank you for that. I also published Eris, a translated version of Eris in Portuguese, since the band is from Brazil, so there is a Portuguese version that I uploaded there, which I kind of made a lot of mistakes on that one, because I uploaded the wrong cover to Draft Digital when I was uploading it, and I had the English cover instead of the Portuguese cover, and it rejected it, of course. But then I wasn't able to change it because I went through Draft Digital and I'd already submitted it. So even if they reject it, you still have to pay to revise it unless you want to wait 90 days, which I didn't want to wait 90 days, of course. So I had to pay to revise it, which was $25. Which is not bad, but it was just a stupid mistake that I really could have avoided if I had been more careful. Anyway, lesson learned there. But yeah, after I finished up with all the like admin marketing business with Eris, I kind of just dove into another project. So it's a project that I'm not really ready to talk about. Basically, it was just this like random story idea that would keep me up in the middle of the night. Like I had really bad insomnia for a little while. And I would just wake up in the middle of the night just thinking about this story concept. And it would just, I don't know, it wouldn't go away. I was like, no, I don't have time to write this. I have to be outlining my like real next project, which I kind of had set a due date for myself for. But long story short, it just kept bothering me to the point where I was like, okay, I have 2 weeks before I have to start like my official next project. I have 2 weeks to just get this story out of me, as much of it as I can, and then maybe it'll leave me alone. And so I spent 2 weeks, just getting the story out on paper. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm not sure if it's actually ever going to be anything that I end up publishing. So I'm just going to kind of keep it a sort of a secret at the moment. But yeah, I got through all of Act 1 in 2 weeks, which turned out to be about 20,000 words in 2 weeks. And this was the first time in a long time, that I had written completely, by pantsing. Like I had no outline, no roadmap, no character notes, no nothing. Not even like a document where I just put random ideas. Like nothing. I just had it all like in my head from all those sleepless nights of me thinking about it, and just sort of like a vague mental image of, what was going to happen in the next scene, and just kind of deciding in the moment what was going to happen exactly. So it was actually a really freeing process, partly because I knew like it was just for fun and there was no pressure to like make it good or anything. It was just like the story that I wanted to tell that I had to get out. And so it was really a fun exercise to just write without any pressure of it being good, or without any pressure of even thinking that anyone would ever read it. So I'm really glad that I kind of allowed myself the freedom to just write for the hell of it, and I think it kind of got me back into the groove of drafting and helped, sort of like boost my creative energy, I guess. And who knows, maybe one day I'll go back to it and finish it and end up publishing it, but we'll see. Anyway, after that, I had told myself, beginning of February, I was going to start the, real project that I had planned for this year. And so, that, real project was, drafting book 2 of my young adult fantasy series, which, if you've been following along on my, channel and my writing journey, you'll know that I have my first full-length novel coming out at the end of this year, being published by Beau's Bookshelf, and this book is a young adult dark fantasy novel titled Trials for the Haunted. So I knew that I wanted to get the first draft of book 2 finished before I sent the final copy of book 1 back to my publisher, because I wanted to make sure I knew all the storyline was going to be consistent and link up with the sequel, and that was just leaving enough breadcrumbs and for the next story element to take place, as well as keeping all my world building consistent and all of that junk. So when I first wrote book 1, I had no idea if I would ever actually sell it, so I didn't really plan too much about what the rest of the series would look like. I think I had I had typed a single paragraph, tiny little paragraph about what would happen then in the next 2 books. I knew I wanted it to be a trilogy, but I had really only the vaguest idea of what the heck would happen in the next 2 books. So I wanted to make sure that I had gotten the first draft out, and then I could go back and make a couple edits to book 1. So I started writing in February, and it took me exactly 62 days and 165 hours to get draft 1 done. Yes, I did track all of my hours and all that stuff because I'm weird like that. But yeah, anyway, I wrote almost every single day, except for I think there's only 2 days in that 62-day period that I didn't write. But I wrote almost every day, and after 2 months, I finished the draft at 90,000 words. And so, it started off really fun. I was in the beginning, the first act, I was just typing away, just really excited to wake up in the morning to get back to writing my story. And yeah, I had a lot of fun right in the beginning. But then by the halfway by the halfway mark, I started to, some of that excitement kind of started to dwindle away, and it started to feel a little bit more like work. And then by the 3/4 mark, I was so ready to be done with this stupid book. The last few weeks of writing were just complete torture. Like, I did not want to do it. I was not motivated. I was so burnt out. I was tired. And it was just such a relief to finally get to the end of the book. The whole draft is a hot mess, and it is completely, I'm trying not to be saddened by how much of a disaster it is at the moment, because I know I can fix it. I know I can, there's like good stuff in there. I just need to go back and like really like iron out some things and, all the revision stuff. But right now it's kind of just a mess, which is fine. But for me, like, I feel like once I get the first draft of something knocked out, like, I feel like this huge weight is just lifted off my shoulders. I feel like, okay, it's done. The hard part is done. Like, for me, drafting is the hard part. After that, I think revision and editing is like easier. Like, there's not as much pressure, it's like I already have the story there. Now I just need to make it good, type of thing. So I'm so relieved that I was able to push through and get that hard work out of the way. And now, if I accomplish nothing else the rest of the year, like if I don't write anything the rest of the year, at least I will be happy with myself for having knocked out that book in that first draft. So I'm glad that I kind of pushed through with that writing sprint and just got that knocked out. And then that takes us to about now, the end of the quarter, which technically this part kind of bled into this next quarter that we're currently in. But whatever, I'm considering it part of quarter one. But anyway, that was to go back and edit book one, which really, it didn't take me all that long. I just wanted to make some, world building adjustments and some tiny scraps of foreshadowing just littered throughout to bring us into book two more, consistently and, strategically, I guess. So yeah, the whole process of going back and editing book one took me only about 18.5 hours, which I did over the course of 2 weeks. And I definitely could have finished that in 1 week, but I was just so mentally like fatigued from writing 90,000 words in 60 odd days. So yeah, I took a few days off in between and I kind of spread that process out. And I just actually this morning just sent off the final draft to my publisher. And so, all that's needed for that final draft is for the copy editing and proofreading to happen, and for me to go through and accept all of those edits and stuff like that. Really just the fine tuning and the little cherry on top type of things. So basically it's done, and I'm so happy to be at the end of this long road with this book. It's when did I start writing? I think I started writing it in 2021, so it's been a couple years. And yeah, I'm gonna be really ecstatic to see it finally just like in printed form, hopefully at the end of this year. So that's about it for quarter one. Quarter one of 2023 was a beast. I feel like I just tackled a lot of things in a short amount of time. I tackled more things than I had planned, actually. And so now I kind of just feel a little bit more comfortable with sort of just taking the rest of the year to just kind of coast and relax and just work on like marketing and stuff for my release at the end of the year. So I think I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break this next quarter, and possibly the one after that, and then pick up with like the hard work again in quarter four. Because that's just kind of how I operate. I'm kind of like a seasonal writer, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, I'll work really hard for like a few months, and then I need to take a few months off. Not off, but like just not doing as much. So that I don't completely burn myself out. So that's kind of my plans for the next couple quarters. So yeah, if you are a writer, please let me know what you got done this past quarter, or what your plans are for the next quarter or for the rest of the year. I'm just interested to know what your writing journey looks like, and whatever you got done this past 3 months. Please drop all of that down in the comments. And if you are part of my reader community, I have one more month of giveaways, and I also have a really fun reveal coming in my next newsletter. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that junk. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.